Hey everyone, so you got your tax bill this year and you're not too happy, right? What am I going to do? How do I protest? We're going to show you the best way to protest your tax assessment starting right now. And I'm Bret Wallace.
And we're
your
your
Houston local guide.
Okay, so before we get into this really exciting topic today, go ahead, subscribe to our channel, hit that little notification bell. Also, don't forget, get our email address below, get our phone number. Please don't hesitate to call or text us anytime. Okay, so we're going to talk about protesting property taxes, which we definitely recommend that you do. And as realtors, we're starting to get more and more requests from our clients how to do this. What are the steps? So Bret, I think there's several ways that folks can go about doing this. So talk high level about that really quickly.
Yeah, so basically there's two different ways that the Central Appraisal District, you're gonna say, I want to protest my value. And they say you have one of two ways to decide what manner in which I'm gonna protest. One, it's 2021, but this video is gonna withstand the test of time, hopefully, and you can use it in the future. But if you're getting your tax bill in March or April of 2021, they're gonna say, if you're gonna say, hey, homes aren't selling for as much as you're saying my home is worth, well, then you have to use sale comps from July 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. And you can only use that the last 6 months of the previous year of homes that are similar to yours, what they sold and recorded for. So maybe in a depreciating market, that might be something to look into. But in an appreciating market, that's probably not going to be the best. And it's not going to give you as much of a sample as the other way that we're going to talk about, which is you can say, your other option, option B, is you can tell the Central Appraisal District, hey, you guys are over assessing the value of my home in relation to all the other properties that you've assessed. So you have a bigger sample because everyone's home has an assessed tax value. So it's a much bigger sample and you can pick and choose the ones that are closest to your home, your subject home.
Exactly. So for example, I actually live in Harris County. So today we're going to be talking about HCAD, which is the Harris County Appraisal District. Many of you are probably familiar with them. Thank you for pulling up the website here, Bret.
Sure.
So one thing I wanted to note, if you have got that little piece of paper and says, oh, your taxes are going up, the good news is that in the day and age that we're living in, they don't want everybody showing up at the actual building in physical form to go protest taxes. So you are able to do this online, which is excellent. So Bret, also, yeah, you're pointing this out, but if you go to the very top here and go to online services, perfect. You see where it says I file protest. Now, again, depending on your county that you live in, there's probably going to be something equivalent, but this is what I did for myself as a homeowner this year. And then you can file this here. So again, there's going to be specific information about your property on the sheet of paper that you got, so you can just follow this process by going in here. So,
and it's always whatever county you live in. So whether you're anywhere in Texas, right?
That's
so it could be Bexar County outside of San Antonio or whatever. I imagine it's the same process in other states, but Texas and Houston is kind of our specialty. So that's what we're talking about. But your county is what sets forth your assessment.
Right. So I'm going to show you, or we're going to show you just a very rudimentary way. Like this is how I've been protesting my taxes for years successfully, I might add. And this is before I was really doing real estate full time and I didn't have access to all these back end great tools myself. So I'm not going to use my address. Okay.
Yeah. So we tried to find an address that was an investment property, an LLC, or so. This might not be the best example, but we didn't want to put anybody's personal information out there. So we found a property and it's highlighted at the bottom. It's 4716 Cashel Circle in Houston as just our subject property. Okay, so Amber, kind of go through what we just typed in at the top right here, Cashel Circle, right?
And to get here, just backtrack for a second. So we were at HCAD and then it says search by property address.
Yeah, yeah. Quick search, correct?
There we go. And then, so
by address.
Exactly. Let's do that.
Name.
So go ahead
and we just typed in Cashel.
Yes.
I cannot spell.
So for example, I live on a certain street. I didn't want to put my exact numeric address. I just wanted to search by my particular street. And obviously my property, in this case, this example is at the bottom, but we can see all of the properties for sale. Or that have sold rather on this street, right? So the highlighted property, the sample subject is below. So we can see a couple things about it. We can see the square footage. and what the assessed value is. So first step is to do some math. You can even use a calculator, don't worry. I don't know how they're doing division these days, so we're going to keep this really
That's too
simple.
complicated. So let's just give an example.
Yeah.
Let's say your home is 2,500 square feet and it's assessed at $250,000.
Right.
The baseline is your home is $100 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at other homes, like in this example, on your street, which are most similarly, the year builds are going to be very close, a lot of the same square footage range. You know, you're going to want to pick homes and maybe even you know your neighbor, you're like, oh, they protest their taxes every year. That's going to be low. You want to piggyback off them, right? So like Amber's mentioned, she's like, oh, that house on my street has a pool, that one has a pool, that one doesn't. She already knew. So if you know some characteristics about your close by neighbors,
yes.
Maybe look for the homes that are most similar to yours.
Like 1 or 2 story is really important. I would definitely segment them out that way.
1 and 2 story,
Yeah.
And then pool or no pool, probably the 2 bigger
Yes.
things, but year build, square footage are going to be your other ranges that you want to be close to. And like I said, this is why it's good to fight based on the assessment route. Say y'all are over assessing my value in comparison to other people because maybe only 2 of these properties on the street sold in the last 6 months of the previous year. So using sale comps from HAR or your MLS or from your Realtor might not be, it's not going to, you're not going to, maybe only 1 or 2 and both of those are taxed high. So you're not going to have way as big a sample as just the assessed values of all the properties in your neighborhood. If you live on a small street or a cul-de-sac, maybe use the street over, the street behind, the street in front, your surrounding streets. Just try to look through, and again, look at the square footage because on this, you know, the square footage is right here, and then the appraised value is right here. So I mean, you could even like right here make an Excel spreadsheet or just say, divide it or print this page off and just write, oh, that one's at 75 a square foot, or that one's at 80 a square foot. Pick the lowest ones and then try to pick out of those 3 or 4 or 5 lowest ones, which ones are similar to yours.
And that's exactly what you do. And then you cite that as an example. So when you go to protest and it says, well, why or what documentation do you have? You can go XYZ, addresses. Theirs is, more, and I have less of a home. So therefore my home shouldn't be right. It's just, it's all about the math. If you can, numbers don't lie. So again, look at the square footage, look at the assessed value, and then you do a sampling here, and then you cite those exact, addresses on your street. And literally, I have done this every year, and every
She's
year,
better at it than me.
Every year I call them, I'm like, yes, I beat it. Now, it might just go up a little bit, but it hasn't been like an incremental increase of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, which has happened. And I will say I have fantastic neighbors because everyone on my street has lived there like for 15, 20 years, and everybody protests. So
piggyback off them. Yeah.
Exactly. Be the superstar of your street and, educate other people as well. But we have found that this is just the easiest way to do this. Now, for any reason, if you're having difficulties finding, the best way to do this, there are other options, Brett. Like you could hire someone, correct?
Right. And then also before we get to that, know your market. So 2020, 2021, insane. And mostly, I bet you if they're protesting commercial values in a lot of places, it's different. It's probably going like this. But residential, and I don't even know how that really works, but residential, which is our territory and kind of what we're speaking to you as homeowners about, you're in an appreciating market, at least in Houston and a lot of other places around, just because of interest rates and how crazy things are. So don't go in just thinking, swing for the fences, but you might get a bunt or a single, right? Just don't expect much because you can only tell the Central Appraisal District so much. They know what's going on. But conversely, like after Hurricane Harvey in 2017, they understood that we were hurting. So like values weren't really that year, and even the year after they gave a little, they weren't just pushing that higher, so know the market, know kind of the trends of what, and that'll kind of let you know what to expect, but always look at it, right? Try to do this. And like Amber was saying, if you really don't have a leg to stand on and you really still want to fight and protest, there are companies out there that are going to, you can contact them. And this is, we're not endorsing Betancourt Advisor, but they're probably one of the more well-known in the Houston area. But there are firms out there, tax advisor firms, companies that all they do is protest values for people. That's what they do for that's on a professional level, on a scale. So I believe, let's say they get a $5,000 reduction in your taxes, and that's 3% of that. So whatever, they're gonna if they save you $1,000 a year, basically, they're going to probably get 40%, 45%, something like that. But there's a lot of these outfits out there that will protest on your behalf, and you can look them up on Google, just Harris County tax protesting company or services or something. You'll be able to find them, and you can look at Google reviews and kind of read up on them, or you can call their office and kind of say, hey, what y'all speak, kind of how does this work? and I know there's probably like a one-time setup fee, like $100 or whatever. And then once they get it reduced, they're going to take a portion of it, but you wouldn't have that anyway. But that's one of your other options. If you can't I'm sorry, if you can't send in your protest online, you don't feel like you have a way to stand, you can always go that route too.
Exactly. So hopefully this helps. So again, we cannot protest your taxes for you as realtors, but we wanted to arm you with relevant information so that hopefully it'll help you in the future. So if you have liked the content of this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't hesitate to reach out to us anytime. Talk to you soon.
What's up, everyone?
That's going at the end.
All right, come on.
I am for real.
We'll just leave it going. All right.